Coming up on CBC Vancouver News. Around 200 homes destroyed by a wildfire burning near Vernon.
Watched our place burn, basically.
So we have our dogs and the clothes that we were wearing.
The stories of those who say they lost everything. Plus, as fires continue to grow, officials warn of more dangerous conditions in the days ahead.
The days and weeks ahead are going to be challenging for British Columbia.
Telling thousands to be ready to flee at a moment's notice. And why the province hasn't declared a local state of emergency.
We are not in a position where we need to take those actions today operationally to be able to deliver the response.
And the criticism from those who say it's time.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle Ghoussoub. Hundreds of homes have been destroyed by a wildfire burning near Vernon, and the full extent of the damage is still unknown. Caroline Bargout spoke to some evacuees who watched their home burn and have nothing but the clothes on their backs. She brings us our top story.
A first look at the destruction caused by a wildfire in BC's Okanagan.
Hey guys, take care.
Yeah.
Among those impacted are Wayne Jones and Karen Royston. They watched as flames engulfed their community. And now they know their home is gone.
It's devastating, you know. We don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, when you're at our age, you don't, you know, what are we going to do now?
All they have is their two dogs and the clothes on their backs.
We had stepped out for a while and came back and couldn't get back in. Luckily, we have a couple of sons and so very many friends that have offered to help us.
The chief of the Okanagan Indian Band says around 30 members' homes were destroyed by the wildfire, along with about 200 homes belonging to non-Indigenous residents.
For many people watching, this wildfire is measured in hectares and structural loss. For our community, it's measured in homes, family histories, and places people have spent all of their lives.
The Bradley Creek and Quilpitic Creek wildfires remain out of control and are still threatening neighborhoods in the Okanagan. Evacuations expanded on Tuesday. So far, 7,300 people have been forced out. Nearly 4,000 more have been told they may have to go too.
And how many sandwiches do we have going out today?
David Scarlatescu wanted to help, so he started feeding fire evacuees and frontline workers free of charge.
We can't change the fact that they've lost homes, a lot of them have lost livelihoods. It's at least something that can make their day a little bit better, I hope, and it's the least that we can do.
The number of evacuees continues to grow. The province says hotter temperatures this week could bring challenges to firefighters battling these blazes. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Lake Country, BC.
Property owners in the village of Clinton are starting to get a clearer picture of structures lost or damaged in the Pear Lake and French Bar Creek wildfires. The CBC's Shelley Joy spoke with regional officials and evacuees in Kamloops.
Has been a lot of video of the village of Clinton on social media, and I think it's pretty alarming when you see that video. So as of today, the Thompson-Nicola Regional District officials have reported, they've got real numbers. 120 properties in the village of Clinton and in the TNRD area E, they call it, have been impacted by the fires. So that means structures impacted. It doesn't mean that somebody's lost their home. It could even mean something like a shed in the backyard. I spoke with the mayor of Ashcroft earlier today. She's also the chair of the TNRD. This is Barbara Roden.
The teams go in, teams of 2 people, and they do what it says. They are rapid damage assessment crews. They go in, they look at properties to assess whether there's been any damage, and if there has been, what exactly that level of damage is. And then when they come out and have a chance to regroup and look at what they found, that's when the hard work starts of informing property owners that there has been some damage to their property.
So Roden mentions there that each person gets a phone call and a conversation with somebody about the amount of damage to their property. As I mentioned, it could be something as simple as a small garden shed or something bigger like a garage. It doesn't necessarily mean a home. And some of these properties, or the majority of the ones that were damaged, are outside of the village of Clinton, just on the outskirts. So it could be something like a small hobby farm, that sort of thing.
And Shelley, have you been able to reach out to anyone who has lost their property or who has already heard from the district?
Well, I spoke with somebody from Clinton who actually watched the fire take over his property, and he really witnessed this fire at its very worst. Blake Bolster is a real estate agent. He does a lot of business in Clinton. His wife is a teacher in Clinton. They have a couple of kids. They just recently purchased a small hobby farm, and it was a devastating fire that impacted his family. Have a look.
We got hit with what they call a fire tornado. So it leveled our place, but also, burnt everything. Yeah, so it was devastating. You know, you don't plan for this to happen.
So he ended up escaping in his motorhome and is now, I think, held up in a hotel here in Kamloops. So those rapid damage assessment teams that we talked about a little bit earlier, they're going to continue their work tomorrow in that area, providing that the conditions are safe to do so. Again, very hot and dry here, and these really unexpected winds are ramping things up. They will be contacting property owners directly about the damage by phone. Some of those calls last well over an hour as they go over the details, and they also help to connect people with social services.
So Shelley Joyce reporting from Kamloops. Thank you so much, Shelley. Too small part of the province continues to grow, with officials warning there will be challenging days ahead. Hot weather is intensifying drought conditions, and there could be more dry lightning this weekend. But as John Hernandez reports, it's still not enough to warrant a provincial state of emergency.
More than 120 fires and thousands of people ordered to evacuate. And provincial leaders say it's likely only going to get worse.
The wildfire activity that we've seen over the last week continues to be dynamic.
Most at risk, 3 regions in the interior, the southern portion of the Caribou Fire Centre, the Kamloops Fire Centre, and the Southeast Fire Centre, where the majority of intense fires are concentrated. We
continue to see significant drought conditions in those areas, and we are now entering a drying trend for the next couple of days, where we'll see those low to mid 30 temperatures, very low RHs, and no rain. What we are also forecasting now is that we may see the return of dry lightning.
There are more than 1,300 firefighters, including 100 personnel from Mexico, attacking the flames. The Wildfire Service says it's getting all the help it's asked for from the province, but some days there's only so much crews can do.
Sometimes, on some days, like on Saturday's cold front passage, there is never enough resources to try to combat that fire. If we are not on every square inch of this province, then we cannot stop every single fire that could potentially start.
Mounting risks have some fire mitigation experts questioning whether BC should consider declaring a state of emergency, like it did in 2017 and 2023, a measure that gives the province more power.
These are things like imposing travel restrictions or hotel restrictions like they did in the 2023 fire season, really procuring gear or equipment from private companies or other government ministries, and having additional access onto private property.
BC's emergency management leaders say that's not necessary, at least not yet.
We are not in a position where we need to take those actions today operationally to be able to deliver the response and support communities and support evacuees.
A position that could change if more fires rage out of control. John Hernandez, CBC News, Vancouver.
The wildfires burning across British Columbia are affecting air quality right across the province. In the Fraser Valley, west of the Brunswick complex near Boston Bar, the risk has been raised to very high. As Ruby Cornish explains, Lower Mainlanders woke up to smoky skies and an orange glow, and it may be here for a while.
It makes for some pretty pictures, but today's eerie red sun and hazy sky are bad signs for air quality. Wildfire smoke from fires across BC and Washington state is drifting across the province. Today, Environment Canada issued an orange alert for air quality in the eastern Fraser Valley. That puts the risk at very high.
That includes Chilliwack, Agassiz and Hope, and that's due to elevated levels of fine particulate matter from wildfire smoke.
I'm asthmatic, so I'm a little worried about going out too often in this.
Well, it smells like smoke, like campfire burning.
It's not totally unbearable because I'm out here, but I'd rather it wasn't here so I could spend more time.
The advice is not to do vigorous outdoor exercise, especially if there's a cough or throat irritation.
The joke we often like to make is, if you were ever looking for an excuse for an off day for your workout routine, this is it. You can take that break today.
Children, older people and those with respiratory conditions like asthma should take extra care as they're especially vulnerable. Those looking to escape the smoke are told to go inside a place that has filtration. Libraries, shopping malls and cinemas are all good spots for a break from the conditions. Smoke from wildfires can travel thousands of kilometres, and once it settles it can be slow to lift. For the Fraser Valley, some strong westerlies might do the trick, but the winds aren't expected to shift until late Wednesday. The haze has reached Metro Vancouver too. Today the risk was low, but that's expected to change as the smoke descends.
You will see over the next couple of days, unfortunately for us living in Metro Vancouver, that pollution level will start to spike on those monitors.
So it might be a while before BC can breathe easy. Ruby Cornish, CBC News, Vancouver.
Darius Maravi joins us now. And Darius, there is a lot to cover. What are you watching this hour?
So, of course, the air quality is something that we're keeping an eye on. Yellow and orange air quality alerts in place across the province, both from fires burning in BC, smoke coming off of those blazes, as well as from south of the border. But we're going to take a closer look at that later in the show. For now, I want to mention the fire danger remains high to extreme in southern BC. That's unlikely to change anytime soon as temperatures climb and dry conditions persist. But we have many active wildfires in BC right now, about 117 of them. A lot of those fires quite large now, covering quite the area in southern BC. And so as we look ahead to the next few days and we see all these active fires, about 56 of which are out of control, we should expect to see increased fire activity as that heat picks up and as these fires become more available, become more able to take on those fuels that are around them. Because in many of these places, we do have intense drought conditions. And so I want to walk through some of the fires. We've heard a lot about the Bradley Creek FSR wildfire, but the Quilpitiq wildfire, also in the Okanagan Valley, one to be keeping an eye on because it has grown quite significantly over the last 24 hours. Evacuation orders and alerts in place throughout the Okanagan Valley because of those fires. As well, if we move over to the area around Clinton, BC, border between the Caribou and the Thompson region. We also see the Pear Lake wildfire seeing some growth. These red areas are new growth in the last 24 hours, but overall minimal growth compared to what we might have expected to see. So good news there. But again, as temperatures climb through the rest of the week, even as winds remain light, we should expect to see these fires become more active and the potential for further expansion of these evacuation orders and alerts. So keep in mind, if you're in an evacuation alert area, you need to be ready to go at a moment's notice. In the Fraser Canyon, Ainslie and Brunswick Creek fires, both seeing minimal, if any, growth over the last 24 hours. In fact, they haven't grown very much in the last few days at all. So good news again there. But many people affected by these fires, Michelle, and it's going to be quite some time before they're able to head home.
Lots to follow. Thanks so much, Darius.
Thank you.
RCMP say a man is dead after two small planes collided mid-air on Monday near the Chilliwack Airport. They say an underwater recovery team located a small plane and the deceased victim in a pond. The second plane made it back to the airport with nobody sustaining injuries. The Transportation Safety Board is now investigating the collision between the two Cessna 172s. The agency says its investigators will assess the crash site and try to determine what went wrong. United Nations human rights experts are urging the Canadian government to investigate and protect Sikh activist Maninder Singh from potential threats to his life. Singh is a Canadian national and a prominent Sikh human rights advocate who publicly supports the Khalistan separatist movement. The letter says Singh has been the subject of 4 duty-to-warn notices from the Canadian government going back to 2022. It says Canada should take all feasible measures to protect Singh and his family. The letter was written by 5 independent human rights experts appointed by the UN. A 37-year-old man faces arson charges in Spokane, Washington, on suspicion of first-degree arson for allegedly setting the largest of 3 uncontained wildfires that have destroyed hundreds of structures in the region. That story next. It went from a small fire to a devastating inferno that destroyed dozens of homes. So how did we get here? How did the Bradley Creek fire become one of the season's most devastating so quickly? Darius Madavi breaks it down.
Everything was fine until it wasn't.
Okay, the fire's right here at the road, and the wind is fanning these flames.
Without warning, the Bradley Creek wildfire exploded in size, destroying homes and forcing thousands to evacuate. Here's how it happened. On July 31st, the fire sparked in BC's North Okanagan, but it didn't show significant growth. Then, on August 1st, a cold front swept across BC. The Wildfire Service was prepared for challenging conditions, strong winds, thunderstorms, on top of a severe drought. But what happened around the Bradley Creek fire was beyond expectations. Winds were forecast to gust at times up to 70 kilometers per hour. Instead, crews on the ground saw sustained 80 kilometer per hour winds, and at elevation up to 115 kilometers per hour. Winds that strong can crank up fire activity fast and make it far more dangerous for crews on the ground and in the air. But it wasn't just the speed of the winds, it was the unpredictable directions the winds were blowing. The first wind shift came on fast, driving the fire aggressively towards the east. Later in the evening, the winds shifted again, pushing the fire towards the northeast, where it crossed Highway 97. Officials said crews in southern BC faced the worst fire activity they have ever seen. The result, thousands evacuated and dozens of properties destroyed. Darius Madavi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Just south of the border, residents in Washington state are sifting through the rubble of their homes as wildfires ravage in Spokane. Officials say a 37-year-old man has been charged with first-degree arson, accused of starting one of the fires that has destroyed about 700 properties and forced thousands to evacuate. Our Julia Wong is in Spokane in one of the neighborhoods destroyed by the fires. Julia, take us through what it's like there.
Yeah, Michelle, I mean, the one word that comes to mind as we're seeing this devastation around us is surreal. You know, it's hard to believe that these properties that you see here behind me, that these used to be houses, and now they're just completely flattened and devastated because of the power of those wildfires. You know, in this property right here behind me, you can see that there are remnants, what used to be a washer. There are also front steps that now lead to nowhere because the rest of the house has been completely destroyed. And it's really quite astounding to see the random nature of Mother Nature. On this side of the street, there are houses that are completely destroyed, yet on the other side of the street, there are houses that are intact, that look completely untouched and don't look like there was a wildfire anywhere near here. So really quite incredible to see just the wrath of these fires. And officials that who I was talking to today, they say that this fire, the 3 fires that are burning in the Spokane area, that those complex of fires is their #1 focus in the country right now.
We're still the #1 priority fire right now. Priority right now is for protection of life and property, but being that #1 fire, we're getting a lot of resources in, and it's really helping us.
So you can probably see that it's pretty pink here behind me. That's because this is pink retardant that crews were covering these houses with to try and protect them from the flames. That pink can be seen pretty much everywhere on this block. You know, the vehicles are covered in pink. We passed by an apartment complex earlier that was just doused in that pink retardant. It's all over the sidewalks here. So you can see just how much resourcing was thrown towards these fires to try to protect these structures.
And Julia, what's in store for the community in the coming days?
Yeah, there's a few different things. One, the very obvious one, is smoke. It is so thick here, you can almost taste it. Air quality is an issue. Another is that the fires are completely not contained at all, 0% contained, is what officials are telling me. So firefighters definitely have their work cut out ahead of them. And they also say that weather conditions will be pretty challenging as well in the days to come.
Julia Wong reporting for us in Spokane, Washington. Thanks, Julia. A smoky sunrise in Metro Vancouver, a masked orange glow settling over the city as the day started. And is there more smoke to come? Darius has your provincial forecast coming up. The WestJet flight attendant strike has ended as the airline and union reached a tentative agreement on Monday. But as the CBC's Jennifer Yoon reports, some passengers are still scrambling.
Some WestJet passengers feeling sweet relief after days of anxiety.
We're just happy to be taking off the ground at the Strait.
I'm really relieved. My daughter's having a baby in a couple of weeks, so I don't want to miss it.
More than 24 hours after this flight attendant strike ended, things are slowly going back to normal for WestJet. Tuesday morning, only 16 flights were cancelled, a clear improvement after more than 900 were cancelled between August 1st and 3rd. But many passengers are still stranded with no word from WestJet.
They've given us nothing in regards to accommodations, meal vouchers. Like, there's just zero communication with them. So we're just literally left on our own.
I'm missing work. I've been missing work for 4 days now, and I need to get back to work as soon as possible. And they're not going to pay for my wages.
It's unclear how long it will take to get to their destination, say experts.
The planes are full, and they're trying to accommodate them, but there's no place to accommodate them on existing flights.
Also unclear the details of the tentative agreement that ended the work disruption.
The contract tentative agreement is for the members to decide, not the general public. And so they want the discussion about the tentative agreement to be amongst the members themselves.
Now it's up to the flight attendants to decide what happens next. They'll vote on the deal in the next 30 days. A no vote could put passengers back in limbo.
There have been several instances in recent years where workers have rejected contracts that have been recommended to them by their negotiating committees. So it's including the Air Canada flight attendants last year.
WestJet says it's working to restore its network and is asking for patience. The airline reminding all passengers to check the status of their flight before heading to the airport. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
More than $100 million worth of Bitcoin has reportedly been stolen after hackers took aim at devices meant to safeguard funds called cold or hardware wallets. And as Anis Haidari explains, right at the center of it all is a Canadian company.
Bitcoin worth more than $100 million, allegedly stolen from devices called cold wallets.
You were told that moving your crypto onto a cold wallet was the safest thing you could possibly do, but thousands of people just had their funds stolen.
Made by Canadian company CoinKite, the cold card was sold as a way to keep Bitcoin secure by keeping a type of password or seed stored physically instead of on the internet. But thieves apparently found a 5-year-old universal weakness in the cold card.
They were able to reverse engineer it, figure it out, and therefore get access to the wallets and drain individuals' Bitcoin accounts.
In an online post, CoinKite wrote, users have suffered real losses, and also suggested users move their crypto off affected cold cards.
This might be safe if it worked as advertised, but it didn't. And it didn't for 5 years. And now a lot of people know that. So that's the problem.
It's not just the fact that this shouldn't have happened and that these people did nothing wrong. It's also that it strikes at the core of the Bitcoin ethos, that you can store these keys yourself securely, that cold card was trusted.
It's not clear who or where the hackers are, and victims may not be able to get much from the cold card company.
You can't sue us and win more than you paid for the device. And the problem here is the device is worth at most a couple $100. Like, this is like a really expensive calculator in terms of the money that's involved here.
There's also speculation this is a new type of attack.
AI is stronger than it's ever been, and it's being used by both attackers and defenders alike to identify vulnerabilities across all companies.
While some victims have said they've reported their losses to authorities as theft, it remains very unclear if anything can be done. Anis Haidari, CBC News, Toronto.
European Union leaders are still struggling to contain the fallout from a sudden wave of migrants last week into a Spanish enclave in North Africa. Tens of thousands of people swam around the border with Morocco, while others broke through border fences, hoping to gain access eventually to mainland Europe, a surge that triggered a humanitarian crisis in the Spanish city of Ceuta, an alarm across Europe. The CBC's Nala Ayed has the latest.
Of the now estimated 70,000 who suddenly streamed into Ceuta last week, some 2,000 remain.
making the beach a temporary home, desperately in need of the basics. And still a monumental humanitarian challenge, even for a city accustomed to migrant arrivals. A Red Cross food handout is a big undertaking, because without some order, the desperation spills over. Desperation is what brought many of them here. They all dream of reaching Europe.
I have many dreams. The first dreams to me, just I want to help my last family. And I will fight for them. I will do anything just to help them.
The surge last week into the Spanish enclave sent Europe into a political tailspin, with some blaming Spain's more generous policies, others, specifically Italy, temporarily suspending the Schengen free movement agreement with Spain. At an emergency meeting, EU interior ministers offered Spain praise and help.
To strengthen the protection of the external border in Ceuta, also supporting returns, of course, and also to prevent movements to the European Union.
Such aims seen as non-negotiable in an environment where immigration is a top concern and where many people from Madrid to Washington paint this crisis as an invasion.
We need to have capacity to...
A victory for the far right, says this political science professor.
They have managed to impose the terms in which we discuss about the issue. So the fact that people use invasion as a term, the fact that we drive the attention away from the humanitarian crisis, this is the real victory.
And with several elections looming, defending the borders will be front and center. Expect the hard lines to stand. Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
Dozens of migrants trying to cross the English Channel had to be rescued Tuesday morning when the engine of their boat caught fire. All 157 people who'd been on board were brought back to France for medical assistance and assessment. They were trying to reach the United Kingdom when their vessel started breaking apart while still in French waters. The UK and France have increased police patrols and surveillance as they try to reduce the number of migrant crossings of the Channel. About 10,000 migrants have already made the dangerous journey this year, down from 24,000 in the same period in 2025. France recorded its hottest month ever in July, all while facing drought conditions and massive wildfires across its southwest region. More on that coming up. Several municipalities in parts of Quebec and Ontario have declared a state of emergency after flooding over the weekend. Heavy rains destroyed some roads in the Laurentians, but Quebec authorities say the situation has become stable. A state of emergency remains in place after back-to-back rainstorms hit St. Catharines, Ontario, and residents in the Niagara region are cleaning up after multiple storms moved through that area. They've left flooded roadways and homes in their wake. Much of Europe is facing its own weather events as wildfires ravage parts of Greece, Spain, France, and the UK. These countries face extreme heat at the same time, especially in France, where officials say July was the hottest month ever recorded. And the ongoing heat is contributing to a number of crises in that country and beyond. Ross Cullen reports from Paris.
Well, it's another day of punishing heat here in France. Heatwave warnings across large parts of the country. And it has just been a summer that's been characterized by wave after wave of extreme high temperatures, starting in May through June and July and now to August. So no surprise that France has registered its hottest month since 1900. We have seen these really bad drought conditions across so much of the country, a devastating impact on crops, particularly now coming through the end of the summer towards harvest time, perhaps the worst time of year to have such a bad impact on agricultural output. Also, the huge wildfires that we've seen across large parts of southwestern France in the past couple of weeks, showing just how bad a summer it's been for the heat. Not just here in France, but expanding out across other European countries. England and Wales have seen their driest month ever, and the water levels in the River Danube, which passes through 10 European countries, are so low that long preserved mammoth skeletons, which have been preserved in the mud for thousands of years, they have now come to light. They are visible because the water is so low. Ross Cullen for CBC News, Paris.
This weather update is brought to you by Elections BC. Local elections are this fall. There are rules for advertising, and Elections BC is here to help.
Darius Madavi is back, and Darius, today we heard warnings that conditions could get worse.
That's right. And the fact is, when we look at wildfires, drought plays a really big role in this. And unfortunately, in the southern parts of BC, we do have some very intense drought conditions. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Back in 2023, we had drought level 5 up in the northeastern corner of the province, large parts of it, for a prolonged period. And 2023, BC's worst wildfire season on record, largely because of the large area that was burning in the northeast. And now, this year, we have drought level 5 in places like the Okanagan, like the Nicola region, that is exceptional drought. We also have drought level 4 in several surrounding basins, as well as the South Caribou. All of those regions are places where we have seen fires spark up very quickly and spread very fast once they do. And unfortunately, these are much more populated areas than the Northeast. So as we continue to see these fires pop up and spread very quickly, we are probably also going to see some pretty nasty impacts to a lot of people in those areas. Now, we have seen that already, and for a much wider area, we've seen some pretty nasty air quality. That is going to continue in the days ahead, especially in the eastern Fraser Valley, where we've seen that escalate to an orange air quality warning. We have yellow air quality warnings more widespread across other parts of the southern interior. I will note that here on the coast, Metro Vancouver has seen a fair bit of haze in recent throughout the day today. That is likely to start to let up as we get into tomorrow evening. But before that happens, we'll probably see the air quality worsen as some of that haze comes down to the surface. But in the days ahead, we're going to see a lot of the smoke from south of the border make its way up, affecting some people in the southern interior, especially in the Boundary region, potentially parts of the Kootenays. And then also a lot more smoke starting to come off of some of these fires as the heat makes them more active within BC. Now, temperatures, like I said, are going to be coming up. They're going to shoot up to the mid-30s by tomorrow in the southern interior, likely hitting 30 degrees in the Caribou as well. and sticking with that right into the weekend as that heat lingers. That ridge of high pressure that is bringing that heat, keeping it trapped in place, also deflecting any potential precipitation, and it's going to push any smoke down to the surface. These ridges of high pressure tend to cause air to sink, or they do cause air to sink, and so that's going to push that smoke, unfortunately, back down. Now, the good news with that ridge of high pressure is that the atmosphere is going to be a little bit more stable, so less risk of thunderstorms over the next couple days, although that lightning risk will likely return Thursday evening into the weekend. So we're going to be on the lookout for that, but for now, mostly just smoke we're worried about in places like the Thompson, like the Okanagan, maybe a little bit of a relief for places in the Kootenays tomorrow before that smoke comes back later in the week. And here's our 5-day forecast here in Metro Vancouver. Again, lots of sunshine on the way. Inland temperature is quite hot as long as that smoke doesn't interfere, but humidity also a factor.
Thanks so much, Darius.
Thank you.
When Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen and his Artemis II crewmates flew around the moon this spring, it marked the beginning of a new lunar space race. The CBC's Eli Glasner examines what's fueling NASA's ambitious plan to get there before China and why being first matters.
Artemis II is just the start of a new race to the moon between the U.S.
We find ourselves with a real geopolitical rival challenging American leadership in the high ground of space.
And China.
You can bet that they will move literally heaven and earth to make sure that Chinese boots leave an impression on the lunar surface.
But already there are big questions, like, is it really about beating China or scoring political points? And is it even realistic?
I don't expect this to happen by 2028.
So let's back up and look at how we got here. Last September, at a U.S. Senate committee looking at the space race, Jim Bridenstine, the former NASA administrator, rang the alarm bell.
It is highly unlikely that we will land on the moon before China.
Soon after, the Secretary of Transportation began publicly criticizing SpaceX, the company contracted to build the next lunar lander.
The problem is they're behind. They pushed their timelines out, and we're in a race against China. The president and I want to get to the moon in this president's term.
Then NASA announced their new accelerated plan.
This is the moment we reject the status quo, challenge what is broken, embrace what worked on July 20th, 1969.
Out plans for Gateway, the lunar space station, in a streamlined, simplified program to get back to the moon in 2 years.
NASA has stated we will return Americans to the moon before the end of President Trump's term. Our great competitor said before 2030. The difference between success and failure will be measured in months, not years.
You can kind of think of the conceptual shift as, instead of focusing in the space around the moon, the goal now is firmly focused on the surface of the moon and getting out.
Longtime NASA watcher Casey Dreyer is the chief of space policy at the Planetary Society.
The major part of this is using China as a foil. It's clearly the second most capable nation in the world in terms of launching things and people into space. They've had a goal for a number of years now to land their astronauts on the surface of the moon, to build out a lunar base with Russia, Pakistan, and a handful of other countries. And it's one of those things that is driving kind of a almost throwback desire to have another space race.
Well, that and one other thing.
The goals of landing in 2028. It is the last year of President Trump's second term, and there is a strong desire by the White House to have this occurred under President Trump.
Okay, so back to China and the clock. NASA wants to be on the moon in 2 years. What does that look like? First step, Artemis II, a test flight of the Orion spacecraft next to Artemis III, all about testing the integration of the Orion spacecraft and the new lunar lander, which is still being built. Finally, Artemis IV, by early 2028, return to the moon, stay for a week, and begin the steps for a sustained presence at the lunar South Pole. Now, to put things in perspective, in 8 years, the Apollo program went from the first American in space to
one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
But NASA today is nothing like the NASA of the 1960s.
At its peak, Apollo was spending $42 billion a year. $43 billion a year. NASA's entire budget last year was $25 billion.
To save money, NASA is depending heavily on private industry. To bring the first Americans back to the moon, they'll need a new lunar lander, the craft that goes down to the surface of the moon and returns. So who's going to build that? Well, that's another race.
The intent is to fly with whichever provider is ready first for 2027.
Welcome to the battle of the billionaires. In one corner, Elon Musk's SpaceX and their lunar lander Starship. In the other, Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin's Blue Moon landing vehicle, both racing to be ready for 2027.
So this is Apollo on the cheap, but with more ambition. So we've turned over a lot of control to these companies, and hopefully they'll deliver. If Jeff Bezos wanted to tomorrow, he could shut down Blue Origin and walk away from this entire thing. I'm not saying he will, or that's even likely, but it is a lot of power to imbue in a handful of individuals in order to, again, to achieve what is nominally a national goal.
And while some, like Canadian space industry researcher Kevin Olson, say with NASA working with a host of other countries, including Canada, it doesn't matter who gets to the moon first.
It's not so much a race anymore because the Americans will have always been first. And it's an inevitability that both groups will be there. It's something bigger than that. And it's something that we are going to try to figure out what to do with it.
We're here to stay.
But Dean Chang, an expert on Chinese space policy, says whether it's returning to the moon or China's first time, the race is on because the country that arrives gets to pick the location.
The long-term commitment that the Chinese have said they want to do is to establish a presence at the lunar South Pole, which is where the water is.
And sets a precedent.
If there are constant Chinese missions and rare American missions, what makes you think the language of space travel will be English? And here it's not just the literal language like we're talking, it's data formats, it's data standards.
It might seem like the stuff of science fiction, but for both the US and China, the moon is just a step to even grander plans.
The goal is not flags and footprints. This time, the goal is to stay.
With both countries looking at the moon as a springboard for interplanetary exploration, Cheng says the new space race isn't a sprint, but a marathon.
The single thing that truly gives China the advantage is that they think in the long term. We've had literally dozens of back to the moon and off to Mars thoughts, studies, profiles, blue ribbon panels. The Chinese, their effort is one that spans a good 30 years as of now.
While the race begins, in the midst of ongoing international tension, Casey Dreyer sees space exploration as something with the potential to unite us.
There's the whole side of this that is the scientific exploration as a fundamental motivator, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of knowing because we say, oh, what's that weird thing in the sky? Well, we can build a thing and let's go there and look. That's an astonishing thing that we can do, and it's frankly precious and worth supporting.
A push bike program on PEI is teaching kids at daycare the basics of biking. The busy new riders made time to speak with CBC. That's coming up.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
This summer, CBC's hitting the road with the search for BC's best roadside attraction. We're putting the top can't-miss pit stops in a head-to-head elimination bracket, and you get to vote for your favorite at cbc.ca/BC Search. And join CBC's Hayley Lewis on Saturn Island August 14th or Margaret Gallagher in Fort Langley on August 15th for special screenings of Indigenous stories. Details at cbc.ca/BC Community.
It's day 2 of our roadside attraction contest here at CBC. We have some familiar landmarks like Hope's Rambo statues, the Britannia Mine, and the Othello Tunnels battling it out today to make the cut in the Southwest BC round. Yesterday, some stalwarts made it through to the next round as part of the Island bracket. Cathedral Grove, the Chemainus murals, and Goats on the Roof are all on to round 2. And one of the newer roadside attractions, the Malahat Skywalk, also through. You can vote on our website, cbc.ca/BC. A nonprofit group promoting cycling on PEI is trying to inspire a new generation of bikers. Cycling PEI teaches the basics of biking to kids aged 3 to 5 at daycare. The children learn on push bikes, a bike without pedals or wheels, and simply powered by little legs. Have a look.
Hey, everybody!
Remember, green light means
go, go.
Red light means
stop.
Yellow light means
slow down.
Hi, I'm Jamie Pike, and I'm the Cycling for All coordinator at Cycling PEI. And today we're here at Little Ducklings doing push bike program.
Oh, like a snail.
Good job. It's a really important skill to learn, and especially when kids are in kind of this developmental age, push bikes are a really good opportunity to learn not just how to ride a bike, but more balance skills, learning how to coordinate your body when your feet aren't on the ground. We're going to do 1 foot pushes only, okay?
So this is our second year having Cycle PEI join us for this program. The kids have had a blast. Every kid that I've talked to have loved doing the bikes. They've always been wanting to come out in the mornings to do the bikes. They love it. Parents have also been enjoying it too. They get the pictures in the afternoon when we post them of all the feedback and their kids coming home and telling stories, and they just have the best time.
So tell me about what you got to do today.
I was eating breakfast and I was hungry.
You were eating breakfast and you were hungry? I meant more about the biking.
I like playing the wolf game and the green light, red light, and the bat and the cat.
Okay, what do we say?
1 o'clock!
Did you have a favorite part about what you did today?
Play Mr. Wolf. One last turn! I like doing the obstacle courses, and I like the riding the bikes.
When you start with a group that's very beginner and kind of just doesn't really know what they're doing, and then seeing by the 4th day that they can glide, and even like today, the difference between Monday to now is extraordinary.
What was the hardest part?
Falling.
Falling was the hardest part? Did you fall many times? Are you going to start biking to daycare? No? Is the roundabouts, is that the problem? All right, do you guys want to go inside and get a snack?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6. You can watch this newscast on CBC Gem, our free app, as well as on YouTube and our website, cbc.ca/BC. I'll have your next local news at 11 o'clock. That is right after the National. Have a good night.